Hi there, I hope you are all well. Today I thought I'd have another little chat about chobbing. I'm very much in practice mode at the moment. This month has been a difficult month due to a family bereavement. So my head's not really in the right place for trading real money. Um, Indeed, it's because of that I wound up losing the other day because I forgot to switch simulation mode on. So my head's not right in the place. I have, however, checked that I am in simulation mode. I checked numerous times, in fact. But there's a few ideas I want to explore over the next few weeks. So I will be in testing mode for most of that time. With regard to chobbing, and most specifically the automated routines that I've set up to do a full chob, as well as a chob with variable green up that I've introduced you to, those routines actually lend itself to endless tinkering, which can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. This morning I was looking at some of my past results, both in terms of screenshots as well as some of the videos. And I was taken by the number of times that the cover bet was matched, but the actual chob wasn't. If you were to look at those past results, typically in a day session, you might find anywhere between a quarter and a third of the races I got involved in actually returned nothing. I didn't lose anything, scratch races, but they didn't return anything. And I began to think today that perhaps that's not the best option, simply because I've picked those races correctly, I've picked the selection correctly, and I'm not profiting from them in any way, shape or form. So it would be nice to actually get something back from that decrease in odds, even if it's just a few pounds. So instead of placing my lay for the same back stake, i.e. £100, I decided to place a lay for 105. We just pull up the variable green up option. You'll see here that I'm placing a lay for 105, and that way, obviously the offset is still the same, in this case 15%. So if that bet's matched, it will spread that £5 across the field. So I'll be guaranteed a £5 profit, even if the CHOB part doesn't go on to win. And since I'm only asking for an extra £5, the CHOB part, the trigger point for the full CHOB, isn't going to be affected by that much. It'll just be a few ticks difference. And so that's what I've been testing today. And as you can see, I've got a nice total here. I've had just the one loser, and I've had a number of, I've actually in fact only had three.
This event will start in
3 races where the cover bet has been taken and I've earned £5. And the other thing I've been doing is a different selection method. With this race coming up, let me just quickly run through it and I'll go into more detail. Essentially all I'm doing is looking at the first three in the market, looking at their form figures. So you can see there the last three form figures for this one is 541, so that adds up to 10 if you were to total those figures. This one is 004. You would count those zeros as 10, so that would be 24. So that's not going to be suitable. And this one again is going to be 18. So that looks like the preferred option. But I would then go and check it against Timeform. If I can drag Timeform over into this monitor. And I've gone and forgotten what the horse was. Every little step.
going behind.
Let me just pull this one up. Every little step. So we would check its past history, and you'll see there we've got only two real major moves. So this probably wouldn't be a pick, but I would also check if there's any significant comment by Timeform. Okay, so since I'm in simulation mode, I'll make this as a selection, but I probably would leave that simply because it's in running history isn't wonderful. I would want to see 4 of those selections. It's 4 of its most recent runs, at least shortening in price. Keep in mind, I don't necessarily need to look for dobs because I'm not ultimately dobbing them. So we just go with every little step and we'll see how it goes. But as I say, this is not likely to be a pick, but just for demonstration purposes for this video. The reason I'm doing this is I was reminded at the weekend of the old Adrian Massey site. I don't know if you remember that or indeed are familiar with it. I don't think it exists anymore. But Adrian did a lot of work analysing horse races, and he had a lot of stats there. And one of the things that jumped out at me a while back was that 72% of races are won by the first 3 in the pre-race market. Now, I'm sure that stat is available elsewhere, but it was on the Adrian Massey site that I saw that many years ago. So that's essentially the inspiration for this particular selection process. I would just look at the first 3 in the market and see how we got on. Checking it against the Timeform site, of course, and making sure that everything looked favourable, including the in-price historical data. So you see there, I'm in that BSP of 3.1, looking to get out at 2.64 with a £105 stake, which will give me £5 across the board. So this is essentially what I've been doing all afternoon. Just ignore that football one there. I'm busy testing Jacob's Ladder again. I'll do another video on that later. So we've just had the one loser, and currently sitting at a £256.32 profit on the day, which is really good. More than happy with that. And it's interesting that now I think I've shown
Cover bet taken.
Well, that's a cover bet being taken. You may have quickly seen that flash into 5 across the board before the trigger point was set off for the actual CHOB part. So we've got a nice profit of £17 across the board there. So that one worked out okay. And essentially that's all I've been doing all afternoon. But yes, as I was saying, it's interesting. Since I started doing the CHOBbing, I've talked about all sorts of different selection processes, and this again goes back to the Dutching stuff as well, where using Naps Checker, using Timeform, using pace maps, all sorts of things. And as long as you have or use the same selection method and you don't jump back and forth all the time, I think virtually any of these selection methods have potential to be profitable in the long term. Okay, I've only done this particular one this afternoon, so we're only looking at 23 races. But yeah, give it a go, shall we say. I'm going to carry on with this for the rest of the evening, see how I get on. But I'll get back to you with yet more videos, predominantly on CHOBbing, later on this week. Cheers.